How's everybody doing? Okay. How many people we have already? We're ready to go? Okay, we have a very nice number. Welcome everybody to the presentation today. My name is Tito Perez. I'm one of the board members of the USTA Eastern, and I want to thank everybody to have the time to come and join us on this meeting. Also, we want to thank all the Easter board to put this together. And obviously, the PTR staff to join us tonight and be able to share all his knowledge and his opinions about the topic today. Today, the topic is coach education and the importance of coach certification. Tonight, we're going to start with Delaine. Delaine Mast, she have a long story volunteering with the USTA, having served on the over 30 national committees. Oh my God, it's a lot, huh? Good for you. Or task forces since 1987. Currently, she serves of the USTA National High School Committee. She was director of large or the USTA Board of Directors between 2011 and 2012, where she was vice chair of the Strategic and Creative Planning Committee and the board liaison to the Service Council. Welcome, Delaine.
Thank you.
Also, we have here Dan Santorum. First, he's a very good friend of me. Dan is a long-time CEO of the PTR, Professional Tennis Registry. Has seen membership increased tremendously during his period from an organization of 2,500 members in 60 countries to one with more than 16,500 members in 125 countries. Dan represents PTR at industry events and conference and has personally conducted more than 400 PTR workshops on 6 continents, 46 countries, and 225 cities. In 1999, he became the first person to conduct courses and tennis workshops for coaches in all 50 USA states. And also, I think we have Brian here too. Yes, Brian? Are you here?
I'm here, Tito.
Yeah, Brian is here too. Welcome. Brian, he's the COO from the PTR. And before that, he was serving as Director of Education, where he was responsible for the direction and content of the organization for our 4 education pathways from the PTR. Also, in addition, he developed his new courses and opportunities, including PTR Education Dashboard that provide hundreds of hours of free online video presentations and was a key player in the evolution of the PTR Coach app. Brian, welcome. Dan, welcome, and Delaine, welcome. We're so excited to have you here. Thank you to take the time and, for our USTA Easter event. Unfortunately, like everything is going to be virtual now, but I think so far we have a great presentations and we're moving forward to have you tonight, and we are, we're all yours, okay?
Thanks, Tito.
Thank you, Tito.
Thanks, Tito.
We're gonna jump right in, and I'm gonna kind of act like the interviewer maybe for these 2 guys and get started because we're excited to have you all here and we want to save some time for some questions and answers at the end. But to jump in, Dan, can you tell us a little bit about what's new for PTR and for 2021? And maybe, Brian, you then comment in regards to coaching education and what's coming down the pike for 2021. So, Dan, if you can kick us off.
Yeah, well, Delaine, in about 10 days, we're going to have our first virtual PTR symposium. And ironically, the PTR symposium was the last live in-person coaches symposium in the world. Little did we know, a couple of weeks after everybody left Hilton Head, that everything was going to get shut down and we'd be going into this virtual world. But the symposium we've got 70 great speakers, super topics on tennis and pickleball. We have a PPR conference as well. And we did a lot of research and we found a great company, and Brian, has done a lot of work. He's a good tech guy, and he chose a really good Excel event company to help us out. And he'll tell you a little bit more about it because we've got some exciting things, not only during with presentations, but also at night we have some fun events. So Brian, you want to tell them a little bit about the events and what we're doing at night?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for everyone for joining us tonight. And yeah, now the pressure's on, so we got to make sure that our event goes off without a hitch. But yeah, we're really looking forward to welcoming everyone to the symposium when it does kick off. But yeah, as Dan mentioned, we've got an amazing lineup of speakers, presenters, and experts from around the globe. And so we're really excited to welcome all of the industry experts in terms of being presenters, as well as all the coaches. We've got a great crew of coaches that have registered. So it's definitely going to be one of our largest, if not the largest symposium that we've ever had. So we're looking forward to that. And as Dan mentioned, in the evening, one of the big things that we wanted to do was to really make sure that we didn't lose that networking feel and really that connection that, anyone that's been connected with PTR has always heard we're a family. And so we've always wanted to keep that at the heart of everything that we do. And part of that is creating as much of that family feel, that family environment to network with your friends and to catch up with colleagues that you haven't seen for the last year. And so we have 3 big events at the end of every night. So on Tuesday night, there will be trivia. It's going to be, you'll have it on your phone. You'll have the live leaderboard. We're going to be doing all things on current events, PTR, tennis, sports in general. So it'll be a fun night to collaborate. The next night we're going to have, just like we do on Hilton Head, we're going to have our casino night. So it's going to be poker, but live deal. So it's not going to be just something where you have to sit and feel like you're kind of static. It'll be live deal. And then the final night is going to be a city's taste of tennis. So we'll have a fun time of just connecting with each other. And really the social events at the end of it are really built around connecting and collaborating with friends that you haven't seen for a good bit. Delaine, to really, oh, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, Brian, I just wanted to tell you, about an hour ago, I got a call from Nick Bollettieri, and he says to me, he says, "What do you think?" I'm like, "What do you mean, Nick?" He goes, "My presentation. You haven't seen my presentation?" He's, "I just sent it to you." And I said, "No, Nick, I'm sorry, I haven't seen it." "Well, it's one of my best." He says, "One of my best, boy." And I said, "Well, thanks for doing it, Nick, and we'll look forward. I know our members and non-members will look forward to hearing it. And we just wish we were going to be seeing you. But Nick's so full of passion, so look forward for a great speech and presentation from Nick."
No, I think that's for anyone that's joining us, they're really going to have a very different experience on the presentations. The ones that have already come in, you're in for a real treat. So they're exciting, especially in a virtual situation. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it's got a nice international flavor to it too, Brian, right? I mean,
oh, absolutely. I mean, we're representing, I mean, we have over 4 LTA staff that are going to be presenting. Federations from around the globe are really incorporated into the expert panels and our keynote presenters. So we're looking forward to welcoming not just presenters near, but also far, to really give coaches that are in attendance an opportunity to connect and really truly actually connect in a virtual sense with some of the speakers that they may not have had an opportunity to see before. So we're really excited for it.
That's important. You say people you haven't seen before. I remember last year we had Corey Goff. It's the first time he spoke, and just, I mean, he blew people away.
He was great.
Yeah, wasn't he, Delaine? And we always have somebody new, and they typically come from outside of the country. But that's the beauty about being an international organization, is the bright minds that we can bring in from tennis to educate you, and it's good to have a fresh face. And one of the other things that Delaine, being on our women's committee, is last year we had the most women ever to speak, and I think we surpassed it this year too. Diversity in amongst our speakers is paramount for PTR.
Well, that leads into my next question, because I'm very proud to say that PTR has always been a leader in diversity. So could you guys give us an update as to where we are and what are some of our plans for the future moving forward in regards to getting more women and more people of color, and how that's, how we can start bringing back some of our ACE workshops with the sections like Eastern. So I don't know who wants to take it first, but go for it.
Well, I'll go first. And you mentioned the ACE workshop, Delaine. I can't tell you the number of ACE workshops that we did in Eastern, probably more than any other section, or right up there, because Eastern is such a diverse section. And I was on this morning when Mike Dowse and Marissa Grimes were on and did a fantastic job talking about diversity. And we're being charged as a coaches organization to improve the number. We've been given KPIs and you know, we're starting out very high as far as a percentage, Delaine. When you look at our coaches of color, we've got more than 1/3 of our coaches. One of every 3 PTR professional is a coach of color. And that's incredible when you figure the population's 40%, and I don't believe tennis is at 33% at this point. So we've done a great job with it, and that's thanks to the ACE program, thanks to USTA Eastern support going back to the 80s when they supported PTR. And Larry Dillon was on yesterday. He was one of our clinicians, and Billy Ray Jackson. We've had a lot of good people that have helped us out in the past. And then when you look in terms of gender, Delaine, we have 25% of our members are women. We'd like to get to 33. You know the story, Delaine, when Billie Jean and I and you were at the Grand Hyatt in New York, and she asked us, you know, how many members we had that were percentage were women, and when we said 24%, she said, well, that's not good enough. You gotta do better. And so we're looking forward to working with the USTA and the USPTA to get more women coaches. We have a program that's called PTRW, and the W is for women. And Brian was very helpful in getting that program going. And so the other diversity aspect is age. And you can become a PTR member, a certified member at 16. We're the only organization that at this point that does that. And we feel that it's important to get people before they get to college, because when they're at college, usually they're looking at probably doing something else besides teaching tennis. Although you're looking at 3 people here that did go to college and graduate and ended up being in the tennis industry. So, but any help that all of you could give to us, we'd sure appreciate it. So Brian, I don't know what else you want to add there.
No, I think you know Dan really covered all of the different areas, but it's just you know, the only thing that I have to add is just how much of a focus this year and beyond, really cultivating the entire tennis industry on really getting coaches from every different area, whether it's you're in the public parks, whether you're the club, country club, municipalities, wherever you're at, and whatever demographic of athletes you're coaching, whether it's juniors, adults, seniors, adaptive athletes. The focus really on increasing the diversity across all sectors is going to be something that for the long term, we're all going to be working together to really expand that. And it's just a testament to a call that I was on today and talking about the PTM Masters programs and how important it is that even within the PTM Masters programs, that this idea that we're so passionate about on creating further opportunities and really improving the diversity of our sport doesn't just fall within the on-court coaching realm, but also those that are off-court and maybe potentially looking for extended education opportunities. And so this is something that is, you know, talking to a lot of coaches, you know, the question is this something that, you know, that there's going to be a lot of action to and a lot of teeth to? And you just heard it from Dan. I mean, this is something that we've always been incredibly passionate about. And we're going to take that even to another level and really drive this for the foreseeable future, that just really makes up the passion of our industry, as well as the passion of our organization for creating the maximum amount of diversity within our sport and the maximum amount of opportunities. So we're excited to see what's in store for us as an organization, with really continuing to expand the diversity on both the age, the gender, female coaches, everything else that's going along with that. So we're looking forward to it.
Well,
yeah, and the USTA
even the volunteer leadership, you know, as a proud board member of PTR, you know, one of the things that excited me was we've finally been able to achieve our accreditation and really get on board with USTA and become part of that team. And I'd really love to hear, Brian, if you want to talk a little bit about the coaching education and tell everybody kind of where it's going and what to expect, because I know a lot of us are very curious as to how things are going to maybe be a little different heading into 2021 and 2022.
Hey, Delaine, before you jump off diversity, I just wanted to come back with it. The USTA hit an ace when they hired Mike Dowse. And, from the beginning, he's been very supportive of diversity. And they, as he mentioned today, they took their time in hiring Marissa Grimes. And she's going to be an ace as well. I spent some time with her yesterday, and she's on a listening tour, as she said. And I just, I trust my gut, and my gut tells me she's something special. And we look forward to working with her. And, I know David Williams there at Eastern and just doing some great things with diversity and getting more diverse coaches in USTA Eastern. So sorry, Delaine, I just wanted to get that in.
No, and I would absolutely agree with you. I think that both of them this morning expressed the fact that if we know we should be doing something, then let's do it. Don't just talk it, let's do it. So
yeah,
I'm pretty excited. I was pretty pumped up. So
I like Mike's thing. He said, what was it? A say-do ratio.
Yep.
He's all about accountability because listen, you and I, Delaine, have been in this industry for a long time, and there's a lot of this. And, now's the time to create the action and get things moving with diversity.
Yeah, and that's I think that in and of itself, right? We could stay on just, especially, and I keep coming back to this, and Dan is the best spokesperson for our organization because he really has been the one leading the charge for diversity, and it gets me excited when we talk about it because we get on our calls, and hopefully you all can see the excitement that we have for it. But internally, I mean, this is a daily conversation, and so I think everyone's seeing. I mean, this is a topic that we could stay on the whole hour here, right? And just because of the things that we're working on in the background, and really because it's really a core value and a pillar of our organization, is really focusing on the diversity of the organization as well as the diversity of the sport. So it's exciting there. And how does diversity actually translate into, Delaine, your question on, the new education? Well, it's interesting that we're talking about it because it's a perfect segue, because looking at the next generation of coaches, our current generation of coaches, and getting them certified, the biggest question is, well, I hear that there's a lot of changes with the education model. I'm certified, I'm not certified. What does that actually mean to me as a coach now moving forward? And so I'm gonna kind of lay it out here. We're gonna do a little bit of an info dump, and I'll give you all a chance to breathe after this. But really what you're looking at is, if you're not currently a certified coach, if you're working with coaches that aren't currently certified and they're getting ready to jump on and dive into the certification pathway, starting February 15th. February 1st, you'll start to see some information about the new Teaching Essentials 1, the Level 1 pathway that's going to be available to all coaches. And then February 15th will be the first opportunity to actually register for the first group to actually dive into this new education pathway. To start off, we're going to be virtual. It's something that we definitely want to get back to face-to-face, and we will get back to face-to-face as quickly as possible. But in the short term, we're going to be starting virtual with this course. And what does the Level 1 really entail? Well, the Level 1 is working with all level athletes, whether I'm working with juniors all the way up to my adult athletes, but it really is creating a coaching foundation for all coaches. It's the entry point of certification. What's entailed with it? What are the expectations for coaches if I'm accessing the Level 1? There's a couple of pre-course requirements. So there are Coach U Tennis. We definitely want to make sure that you complete Coach U Tennis. This is something that you can jump on and complete even before you start the membership process and the certification process. From there, you're going to have your Coaching Essentials. This is a brand new course that's been created by the USTA, and this is going to be available online. It's roughly about a 3 to 4 hour course, depending on how fast or how quickly you move through it. But again, it's a brand new course that will be completed prior to attending the virtual sessions. Background check and safe play. Hopefully all of you that are on the call right now have heard and are well aware of background check and going through the USTA Safe Play program. Really important for everyone in our sport moving forward that we all really get that checked off. And it's going to be something that's essentially going to turn into an annual thing for all of us. You know, whether we're renewing our background check, whether that's our safe play, whether that's our safe sport. It's one of those things where, just like our continuing education, we're getting into the habit of doing that every single year. And then the final piece of it is first aid and CPR. And so ensuring that all coaches going into level 1 complete their first aid and CPR. So those are the prerequisites that are going to be required of all coaches to have met and complete before certification can be launched. Now, once you've had an opportunity to complete those prerequisites, you'll go into and you'll have your 2 days of virtual face-to-face learning. It's as close to being on the court as we can possibly get. And so the experience that all of you are going to have, it's going to be a very rich experience and rewarding experience, and having an opportunity to interact with coach developers just like you would attending a face-to-face workshop. But that's the process in terms of what entails a coach, what the coach will experience going through level 1. And again, that's the foundational course. That's your entry point to certification. The follow-up question all the time is, okay, what's next? I'm certified. Where do I go from here? And starting in April, May of this year, we'll launch the level 2. The level 2 is going to be a much more extensive, a deeper dive. Again, still covering all areas of coaching, whether I'm working with juniors all the way through adults, seniors, adaptive athletes. But what are the requirements of me going through a level 2? And the level 2 is really looking, I'm a career coach, I'm in this, I'm living and breathing this every single day. The level 2 is going to be where you want to move to eventually. Diving into the level 2, you're going to have, it's made up of 2 3-day face-to-face sessions that are referred to as Teaching Essentials 1 and Teaching Essentials 2. Both of those sessions are 3 days in duration, live on the court, and we're very hopeful that we'll be able to bring those live on the court depending on how the pandemic goes. From there, you're going to have some online requirements. So there are going to be some on-court online modules that you'll work through. There will also be some off-court, some more business-focused courses that you're going to be working through online. In addition to that, you're going to be placed with an advisor, and your advisor is really there as a mentor of sorts to help guide you through the level 2 certification journey. They're there to really support you and really be kind of your foundation, ensuring that you have that successful experience as you progress through the level 2. The advisor is also in a position to help you complete your portfolio. They're the ones that are there that are going to be able to really assist you and guide you in terms of your portfolio assignments that you'll have. And then at the end of that, you're going to submit that full portfolio for final review, and that will make up the level 2 certification pathway. So as you can see, it's a little bit more extensive, a little bit of a deeper dive. And the final part, and then I'm gonna let everyone breathe, is, okay, what's next? Can I go? I've got level 2, is there something I can do? And there will be a level 3 that will be launching. And the level 3 is going to be a much more specialized look in terms of me as a coach. Am I working with performance athletes? There's gonna be a specific performance route. Am I working just with juniors, maybe 10 and unders, recreational athletes? There's gonna be a junior route, adults, club settings, league teams. There will be the adult, and then there will be the introduction of a business route as well. And these will be much more extensive, somewhere in the realm of 8 to 10 days of face-to-face education. So again, you're seeing everything is going up, but the education is going to be all new. So it's exciting times here over the course of this next year. But again, a lot of information for coaches just in terms of how the certification model will change. And with that, Delaine, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Well,
Hey, Brian, can I ask you a question real quick? Because, you know, our PTR Master of Tennis it's unquestionably the best product out there for higher level education. Where is the Master of Tennis going to fit in with the new education?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's one of our programs that I am most passionate about, just because, as Dan mentioned, it is the premier coach education program that's out there. It's a 2-year-long program. It's the most in-depth and detailed, and it's the most personally challenging program that you'll really experience. As it stands right now, that's still a little bit fluid. We're looking at that's most likely going to land somewhere in the level 4 range, which is a new level. That's a TBD, but that's where we're really pushing for the Master of Tennis to fall into place. There is looking at that becoming hopefully a level 4 recognition.
Well, and I was just going to chime in as a coach. If anybody out there needs any help going through Safe Play, I have been helping a ton of people get it done. I know it's not the easiest thing, but actually once you've been through it about 40 times helping people, it's not that hard anymore. So if anybody needs help, but one of the things that I look at as a coach is it may be a pain, but I want my parents and I want my kids to know that I've done everything I possibly can as a coach to be as professional, to be as up to date on what's happening, and to make sure that they understand that the safety and health of their children is #1 priority on my list. And the best way to do that is to be able for them to log in on USTA.com and look up and see that I've been Safe Play approved and I've done all my stuff.
Yeah, it's been tough, Delaine, for both teaching organizations, because this is a huge change in our industry, and both organizations have lost substantial amount of members, and that's not fun. But at the same time, we know that we made the right decision to require background checks and the continuing education as well, and the other education that is going with it. So we're real pleased. And you're, as a board member, Delaine, you were very supportive, and we thank you for that.
Sure. Well, I think this kind of leads into the next question as far as what is PTR doing that you want to comment on in regards to relationships and making the teaching pro a more valuable person for a club or someone to hire. You want to talk about the triple threat a little bit and what we're trying to do to give pros just kind of more of an advantage to get a good job?
I mean, Delaine, that's a great question. I mean, 3-4 years ago, the word pickleball was like, you couldn't even say it in a tennis arena. And now, talking about Mike Dowse coming in, he's totally changed that, because he sees that pickleball is actually not a competitor to tennis. It's something, if you work together, both sports are going to prosper. And they're even building pickleball courts at the Orlando facility. And we're going from, and you'll see, especially up in the Eastern section, you're seeing a lot of directors of tennis shift to become director of rackets, because upward in the USTA Eastern, there's 3 sports. There's platform tennis, there's pickleball, and there's there's tennis. I mean, you look at me, here's platform, pickleball, tennis. I mean, we're and it's really helped people get jobs. In fact, I got a call 2 days ago from a pro that did not get a job because he was not platform tennis certified. They didn't even want to consider him. And I was talking with Scott Handback this afternoon, who's the director of the PTM program at Methodist. And he said, yeah, we've got to have all our graduates now. They got to have all 3. And PTR is working with all 3 governing bodies. We've reached out, we've got partnerships with all 3 governing bodies, and we've used the education that Brian and Ann Pankhurst helped develop, and Sarah McQuaid to put together to these other sports. So we're kind of speaking the same language, so to speak. And so we're actually going to have our first platform conference in Eastern. It's going to be at Brad Easterbrook's place during the Open. So a lot of key things will be happening in the Eastern section, and you'll see a lot of workshops there. And we're going to have a thing called a dual impact pro and a triple threat pro. And we're going to market the heck out of it because we think that's going to be something, especially in your section, that's going to be very helpful.
What about our relationship with the WTA? Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Go for it, Brian.
Yeah, no, that's been a great relationship that we've had an opportunity to just cultivate and grow even more year over year. We're excited to say that we just re-signed another 2-year agreement with the WTA. And really, what has our role been with the WTA? Well, it really has been to support coaches working with tour level athletes and their educational needs. We've really supported them by organizing and developing a course that's been offered at multiple of the Grand Slams, as well as Indian Wells, US Open, different sites that we're able to get together with the coaches and really provide them an opportunity. That course has now this year been developed into a virtual course that we've been able to offer those coaches. And the question that we always get from a lot of coaches is, this is awesome with the WTA. I love being connected with PTR that has that connection to WTA. What does it mean to me? I'm coaching at my local community park, this club, this program. What does that mean to me? Well, we're currently working and we've been in conversations over the last year just at expanding our relationship with the WTA and how we can help create a new pathway or pipeline for coaches that may be aspiring to coach on tour, and how can we support, because it helps both us provide resources and opportunities for our PTR members, as well as the WTA. They have a very big interest in that because they want to see that next generation of new coaches coming in. So there's a lot of exciting things happening. And again, it circles back to this whole idea of diversity in the sense of working to get more female coaches involved. That's been a major component with the WTA partnership, is whether it being our conferences that we've had an opportunity to organize with the WTA, or any of our initiatives that we've worked with them. The whole goal has always been, the heart of it has been, how do we get more opportunities for female coaches, whether they're looking to coach at that level or whether they're looking for speaking opportunities, different things to really help them get that connection with the WTA and just create a further pipeline for female coaches as well going into it. So it's been a great opportunity for us to help increase that diversity in terms of the female coaching aspect within the organization, as well as leading up to WTA. So it's been exciting, and Delaine, on that, it's a lot more excitement is on its way.
And one example of that, Brian, and you know this as well, is that at the Shanghai, when we were in Shenzhen for the WTA finals, and we had a WTA PTR conference, and one of the speakers was Vanya King, and she did a great talk on doubles. And then Brian said, hey, we'd love to have you come speak at the PTR symposium. And she's on the docket to be a speaker. And I spoke with her last week, and because I said, we'd like to get more women coaches. Can you help us out? And she says, hey, I've got a bunch of women pros that I'd love to send your way. So it's those connections that are just key. And the WTA has been a great partnership with us. And as Steve Simon said when I shook his hand and I said, Steve, it's great to be a partner with you. And he said, Dan, it's the only way to go. And, that's true. And we're seeing that, with our Tennis Industry United, that the partners working together, that's a huge key.
Well, speaking of a huge partner, I think we're on with one with USTA Eastern. And I know that they're one of our first partners in the ACE workshops. And maybe you guys can comment for a moment about the importance of our relationship with Eastern and how we would love to continue working with them as well.
Well, I think of all the sections, Delaine, it's got to be the top 3 as far as workshops that we've done. And again, we go back to the ACE and whatnot, but Tito said I've done over 400 workshops. I probably 15 to 20% of those were in USTA Eastern. I spent a lot of time there, met a lot of great people at USTA Eastern, and we look forward to coming back and doing some more continuing education with USTA Eastern, and there's just a real good synergy between the two organizations. New York as a state and New Jersey, they're in the top 5 as far as the number of members, certified members that we have. So you can see the importance. And Connecticut is really boosted up with actually the help of platform tennis. And we've gotten a lot more PTR members in Connecticut. So it's just a sweet spot for us. And you've got one of the best executive directors in Jenny, and you don't know how blessed you are to have someone like her and just a great staff, and that are helping put this on. We look forward to working with USTA Eastern.
You have anything you want to add, Brian?
Yeah, no, it was, just listening to Dan talk about it, it goes back to our presentation that we were talking on Tuesday night, just kind of reminiscing about this exact event. And one of the comments that I made is, Eastern holds a special place in my heart just because it was one of the first events that I was presenting at when I was officially an employee of PTR. And it was just from that point forward, having the multiple opportunities of coming back. We have opportunities of presenting at various events and venues all over the country and the world, for that matter. And there's certain times where you feel like you just go in and you give a presentation and that's that. But it never fails. Every time that I had an opportunity to come up to the Eastern Conference, or as Dan mentioned, running one of the workshops, one of the biggest things that always stands out to me for all the coaches in Eastern is some of the friendliest coaches and just really energized, genuinely energized to learn more. It's not that they're just attending items to be there maybe just for the networking, but really actually want to know, how can I get something out of this conference, this workshop, to make my athletes better? And it's always an experience every time that I have an opportunity to come up that I love. And I think the testament to it is just, Dan has been up to the conference so many times. Steve before myself, and then we sent Milena last year, and she came back and the same exact thing. It was her first time at the conference, and her comment was, it's just different. It feels good. They're so welcoming, and so yeah. In terms of such a great partnership, I mean, we recognize that, and we really appreciate it too, from the section itself, but also the coaches in the section, and just you're a very special group to us as an organization, and we really appreciate everything USTA Eastern does, as well as all of the staff, as well as all the coaches in the section. So we're looking forward to keep this going with everyone.
Yeah, and other than our home section, Brian, of Southern, I've been to more sectional annual meetings in Eastern than any other section, and part of that's because of the people. I mean, Brian mentioned the word genuine. There's no phony balonies, as I say in Eastern. I mean, what you see is what you get, and you just gotta love that. And very authentic, and the passion that the pros in USTA Eastern have for learning it's off the charts. It's great. And one of the things that we mentioned on Tuesday, and Jenny and I were going back and forth, the USTA Tennis Teachers Conference, or the Tennis Teachers Conference, that was started in 1972 in New York at I think it was the Roosevelt Hotel. That needs to come back. That's something where a lot of Eastern pros would come to, and we'd bring all the PTR staff. I mean, we just emptied out of Hilton Head and came to New York, and that's why I think we do have such an affiliation, because of every year coming up. And something, as Brian said, that we look forward to coming up to New York City and coming to the conference. So, Jenny, we got to get that conference back. Let's lobby.
Well, it's funny. You guys may not know, but I see some of my Clifton Park buddies on the call here tonight. But I actually played my senior year of high school in Clifton Park in Eastern for Gene Gould, who, rest his soul, was my first tennis coach, who actually got me a teaching job at the Edison Club in Rexford, New York. I'll never forget it. And you know, he was one of the ones that said, hey, you know, be as professional as you can be, learn how to sweep clay courts and take care of them, learn how to take care of customers, you know, go out and get your education and learn how to do this right. And, you know, 40 years later or however many, I quit counting after a while, especially during COVID. I quit counting everything during COVID. But I'll just say there are 3 guiding principles that Billie Jean has kind of taught me to buy into. Those are relationships are everything, never stop learning, and always be a part of the solution. And I'll tell you, being a part of the PTR family and a part of the board and even being part of tennis and the USTA, it just, I mean, that's what it's all about. You sum it up with those 3 things. They will take care of any situation that comes up if you can keep those in mind. So I don't know if we want to turn to the crowd and see if there's any questions before we have to go, or, you know, chime in. I guess you can type them in, unmute, ask, but we're open. We're here for you. So.
Sorry, I missed most of it. I was at the leadership meeting, but Delaine, we always think of you as the Eastern family. You're still part of our family growing up in Eastern. And whatever we can do to support PTR, you know, Dan will be there, Dan and Brian.
Oh,
Thanks, yeah. Jenny.
Thanks, Jenny.
Anybody else out there have any questions? Come on, you guys. I know you're not shy. Some of you on there text me questions all the time. Come on. And we're just excited to be out here for you guys tonight and just be able to talk and communicate. Communication is everything. So.
Yeah. And we hope, like I say, we hope you'll attend the symposium and get a chance to see what we do in a couple of weeks. And hopefully next year we'll see you in person.
Edward, I can just put a question in the chat box, and it says, is the coaching certification for high school coaches or college coaches? I'm a high school coach, NJSIAA tennis official. Brian, you want to take that one?
Yeah, definitely. Edward, great question. And really the level 1 Teaching Essentials 1 course has been developed and designed really for every coach. It doesn't matter if I'm a coach working grassroots just part-time, or if I'm a coach working Division I college athletics, everyone in between in terms of where they're spending their time on court. The level 1 Teaching Essentials 1 has really been developed for all coaches to dive in and really get their foundation there, as well as moving into level 2. There's a lot of stuff, Edward, in that level 2 that I would definitely recommend if you're coaching high school athletes. Definitely looking to pursue into that level 2, because there's so many different crossovers that you'll be able to really utilize and most importantly apply to your high school athletes. Practice plans, looking at how to effectively organize practice plans. What does that mean when we're talking about getting a group of athletes warmed up effectively? How do we manage groups of athletes effectively? I know that's for our high school coaches. That's one of the biggest questions all the time. I've got 2 or 3 courts and I've got 60 players. What can I do to keep everyone moving? And you know, the new courses all include areas of focus that are going to apply to our high school coaches. So definitely on that side, Edward, it's going to be a course that you're going to enjoy. And it won't be, I always say this, it's not going to be something where you're just checking off a box to attend and, you know, you get the certificate, but you don't feel necessarily like you have a lot to apply to your athletes. You'll get done with that course and you'll have a good amount of resources to really apply to your athletes and impact in a positive way.
Yeah, I see. Darren says, I run a community tennis program on park tennis courts every summer for 4 weeks. Can PTR certification benefit me, and should we offer pickleball instruction? I'll just say, Darren, I can relate. You will have to talk sometime. I run an NJTL chapter, and a lot of our instruction is done on high school public courts. And definitely the PTR certification benefits me in a lot of ways. One, mainly with liability insurance. That's huge. And 2, with the education and being able to not only help myself with the education, but we've also gotten 9 or 10 of our instructors certified through the ACE program as well, younger people that need to learn how to teach and work with groups and help learn how to adjust when you have big numbers on public courts and you're not doing, you're not at a club where you have 2 or 4 people in a clinic, something like that. So it definitely, there are a lot of ways that it benefits. Plus it gives you a network. We're able to connect you with, a network of people just like you that are doing those same types of things, so that, we can communicate and find out ways. Maybe there's something I'm doing that would help you. Maybe there's something you're doing that would help me. But we're always interested in connecting people.
Yeah. And we're happy to come and do a pickleball workshop too. Just give us a call. And, we have a program, it's called Pick 10, that basically was a program that was just way ahead of its time. And, I look back, and I told Brian this the other day, we're gonna have to go back and just repackage, remarket it, and get it back out there, because we believe the 2 sports, the tagline is you can learn 2 sports in one program. And what parent wouldn't want to do that, and what kid wouldn't want to learn 2 sports during the same program? So just give us a call, 843-785-7244.
Yeah, I was going to jump in on that one too, Dan. I mean, you hit it spot on. Darren, one of the things I would, and we're happy to chat with you on, but especially when you're in a community tennis program where one of the main goals, right, is attracting new players, and you're in such a great position to be able to introduce new athletes to the sport. Well, not just one sport, but how do we introduce them to now 2 sports? And as Dan mentioned, Pick 10 is really set up. It works great in clubs and in programs. But really, I look at Pick 10 as being just such an opportunity for our grassroots, our community programs to really grow the base and foundation, because it makes tennis and pickleball accessible to any player. Doesn't matter if you've been an athlete growing up your whole entire life, or this is the first time that you've stepped on any sort of athletic arena. It gives you an opportunity to really create a successful first experience for the players that are coming to your program. And at the end of it, they've got 2 sports, so they can kind of diversify themselves. And we're going to play tennis today and pickleball tomorrow, so it keeps them coming back for more and engage with your programs.
Yeah.
Mention that number again. Darren wants to hear the number again.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
I'll put it into the chat.
843-785-7244. And real quick, is probably people saying, what's Pick 10? Well, it's a program, Pick for pickleball, 10 for tennis, 10 sessions. And the first 3 are pickleball, and the next 6 are tennis, and then the last one is a combination. And basically, when you start out with pickleball, it's an easier sport to learn. You start tracking the ball, the paddle's closer to your hand. It's much easier to get confidence, and then you gradually get into tennis. And Brian helped us tremendously put it together. And it's geared to adults, but we're working with Jason Jamison, who used to work for the USTA, to get it going for youth as well.
Well, and I think just to comment, Edward put something in there in regards to COVID and being on a bus with kids and that kind of stuff. And I think all of us, and I'm not a professional in the COVID business, but I think all of us have realized that everybody has their own level of tolerance. And I think one of the things that's really cool is that tennis is the safest sport out there that you can play. So if you can get away from riding on a bus with 60 kids and just do the officiating, and and you're 78 feet away or 40 feet away, you're a lot more than 6 feet away when you're on a tennis court, especially if you're officiating, then at least you're as safe as possible, and still being on the court and being involved with the sports and still helping the kids. Because I tell you what, officials are special people. The people that are willing to officiate tennis matches are special people. I give you lots of kudos because we need them, but it is a thankless job. So,
yeah.
So thank you for what you do, Edward. Are there any other questions? We can wrap it up. Is there anything else, Jenny, that you want us to comment on?
I'm sorry, like I said, I jumped in from the leadership meeting, so I didn't catch a lot of it, Delaine, but, you know, Eastern Section's a huge supporter of PTR, so, you know, after this session, maybe we can catch up and figure out, you know, what's the best first steps with Eastern and some of the things we can do, moving into 2021.
And one of the things, Jenny, is, you know, because you're a PTR member, the ballots for new PTR members came out for the next 3 years. Delaine chose to run again, and she will be elected as well as our other two. And I want to mention that Tito Perez is on that list, and I know you've worked with him, Jenny, a lot in the past decade here, and so I think that's going to be a really good synergy with Tito being there, being on our board, and having a great relationship with you for us to do some more things in Eastern. And Delaine's just down the road, and the other board members, John Borden, who's at the Washington Tennis and Education Foundation. So 3 very diverse new board, well, not new in Delaine's case, but three board members coming on for the next 3 years.
Well, you know, D&I is so important for us with coaches. So the whole ACE workshop, I think we need to figure out how to move that forward at the section level. So maybe that's a conversation we can have, you know, after the conference is over.
Great place to start.
Look forward to it.
Thanks, Jenny. Thanks, Eastern. Thanks, everybody.
Eastern rocks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for coming and be a part of it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.